G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will continue, basically finish off our war for Cybertron Scorponok. As you can see, his base is back into robot mode, but obviously this is not the guy we are looking at. This time we're looking at this little guy. This is Lord Zarak, and I've zoomed that in way too far. Here's a quite nice Headmaster, or Titan Master as they're called nowadays. He does look rather nice, him with a head on his back. So as for articulation, arm can go up that far, and can go that far, can't mount that far. His head can do a full 360, but that's really tight and I don't want to force it. Legs can go far forward that far. Can't go any further back. Knees bend both ways. So for a size comparison, I won't bother bringing out Windblade's Titan Master because he's the same size. But here he is with Fans Toys Grax. So there they are together. Now, we can't talk about Lord Zarak without talking about Scorponok's head. Now, let's have a discussion here, since we'll have a bit of time on this one. Watching the final episodes for G1, the American version, not the Japanese, the American version, when you see Lord Zarak transform into Scorponok, he combines with just his head. He literally transforms into this and then attaches to Scorponok's head. He is not like Spike and Cerebros. Technically, this guy shouldn't exist. This guy is Lord Zarak. This guy is not Lord Zarak. This is his head, but his head shouldn't transform. Technically, this, and I'll fix this camera up because I swear I'm going through the top of it. Fix the angle up a little bit. Technically, this should be the only piece of Lord Zarak. It should be transformed this to his head. This guy shouldn't technically exist because he doesn't. Because if you look at Lord Zarak when he's standing next to Galvatron and everything, he's of reasonable size. Let's say reflector size. So reasonable size. He's not a Headmaster size. So, in the comments, let me know. Do you think this is actually Lord Zarak and this is a power armor? Or if this is Lord Zarak and they just screwed up with this figure and they just said, let's go for it. Now, I know the G1 toy had it. The G1 toy was a Headmaster who becomes a Headmaster who becomes a Titan. And if there's a Japanese detail in it, go ahead and explain in the comments. I haven't watched the Japanese series because I'm sorry, but the way that they treated a lot of the G1 characters, especially Cyclonus, just put me off. I could skip that and just go to Godmasters and Victory, and I think I'd be fine. But I cannot sit down and physically watch Headmasters. It puts me off. Anyway, let's put this guy off to the side, and let's get down to Scorponok's head. Now, what you can do is you can unplug these, and of course you can leave his head like that if you want. And these connection pieces here is what you use to attach to his body. So, I didn't go into the details with this while I hadn't connected, but if you cover up that, you can actually see he has an eye. And of course, when you put these on, I won't bother putting the other one on, he has a mouth. So that looks relatively like the Scorpion mouth. So I found that pretty cool. But there is another feature that's hidden. Unless you transform it, it's hidden. And I quite like it. I just wish there was a slightly better way to actually access it. So what we're going to do, and I'm just trying to remember my steps. This is going to flip up, but we can get access to it easier. Now, you can flip this up and flip this up, and it reveals bug eyes. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's bug eyes in there. So very multi-layered eyes. The only problem is you can't really display it because unless you pull this off out of here, I'm assuming it's just a clip. Yeah, it's sort of just a clip. There we go. You can display it like that, but then he's missing half the top of his head, which I'm not a huge fan of. But you can get a screwdriver, take that out. It does slip out. I won't do it, but you can slip that out and put it all back together, and it will quite easily display his bug eyes. So if you want, you can modify this guy, and now I bet you I'm going to have a hard time getting that back on, to actually have bug eyes. Like I said, I don't know if that's just a Japanese thing or a comic thing. Tell me in the comments. Alright, so what we're going to do is flip this down here. We're then going to... Where's the next step? Yep, we untab this piece here, which will free the legs up and fold all that down like so. We can then, should be able to, it's probably in the way, pull out and flip up the arms like so. They do sort of tab in here into back here somewhere. And that can just flip up and just press against his butt. That can come down, forming his belly. Flip down the arms and flip out the hand. You can then flip this down just to sort of give you a bit of a cleaner look. That folds out. And we have a body without a head. Now you can take these and plug them back on the sides if you want and have them like that, or you can lift them up like that. Completely up to you. I don't like them on mine. Oh, also, if you really, really want to, for some reason, it just barely fits in there. No, it doesn't. I could have swore I used to have them fit. There you go. You can have them with some weird horn guns. So, what we're going to do is, I'll just have a look to see how this lines up. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this backwards. So I'm going to fold that in half, I'm going to put this backwards and plug him in. And then just sort of get him turned around. Now, actually, I think he actually works better. I think this is actually why his head gets a bit stuck. I think I might be able to get around with it. For some reason, I think it's wind blades. It gives me trouble when I try to do it like that. But there is Lord Zarak. Now, this is what I mean. This is what Zarak looks like, minus these plates and stuff, in the cartoon. So he is already in his robot mode. So this shouldn't detach. This should, as it shows in the show, he jumps up, he transforms into the head, and he connects to Scorponok. So technically, he's not a headmaster. I know he is. But technically, gone by the episode, he's not. But yeah, he does look nice, I will say that much. But obviously, because of these pieces here, and they do not go down, his head is a little bit limited, and it can only just sort of wiggle up and down. His arms can do a full 360. Can go out that far, but this gets in the way, and there's no way to move that. He does have a double jointed elbow. He has a little bit of bicep rotation, but it sort of gets hindered by the sleeve here. His wrists do not turn because they are pinned. He has below the waist rotation. He has no ab crunch. Leg can go up that far. Leg can go back that far. You can probably... just seeing if I can... I think I'm actually just unplugging all that, honestly. It's just sort of pull it back a bit and gives you a little bit more room. I'll get the word out there eventually. He does have thigh rotation. He has single jointed knee, which go both ways. Which is, if you think about it, is really funny because he basically does the same thing as what the small guys do. He breaks his legs to transform. He has an ankle tilt that doesn't go any further than that. That's about as far as it goes. It does not go up, does not go down. It is what it is. I have a feeling like that's supposed to fold down somehow, but I think that's just me imagining things. So there we go. Straighten you up a little bit. So for a size comparison, here he is with Titan's Return Cerebros. So Cerebros is actually taller than him, but at least he's actual triple changer Headmaster. Cerebros is the robot. Spike is the head. So there you go there. Also, one last note. What is it with the Decepticons not having any sound gimmicks or light up gimmicks? Cerebros has actual gimmicks inside him. I won't go through them, but he has gimmicks in him. He lights up. He makes sounds. So does Metroplex. Trypticon doesn't have it. Scorponok doesn't have it. But in saying that, neither does Omega, and neither does Trypticon. So there we go. And one last comparison. Once I get Cerebro standing up properly. Here he is with his forever buddy in space, Galvatron, or in my case, Fans Toys Sovereign. So there we go. So if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring the bell. You'll get more updates about future content, including my continued Lego, apparently at this point. And yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about those two topics. Is the head Zarak, or is that just the gimmick because of the toy and the whole body is actually Zarak? And secondly, would you have it in bug eyes, or would you just have it standard? Curious to ask. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.